Good morning, everyone. Welcome to one more business talk show, Papo Sobre Negócios, here in International Business Relations YouTube show. Today, we have a special guest, Marley Pereda. Marley, it's a
Hi.
pleasure to have you at the business talk show here in our YouTube
Thanks,
channel.
Natalia.
Thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
here with us.
Thank you very much to you, Natalia, for the invitation. Yes.
And so, Marley, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where you're from, how long you've been in Cape Cod, about your background, education, a little bit about your career.
Okay. Well, first of all, hello to everybody, to the Natalia's audience. Yes, Marley Pereda. Yes, thanks again for the invitation, Natalia. I've been here on the Cape Cod, I can say it, just about 10 years or 11. I totally lost. I cannot recall exactly. But I moved from my homeland, Peru, South American country. And as many people just moved to the United States based on different experiences and reasons. In my case, gave me the opportunity to decide after a while if I want to stay here in the United States or returning home. And I just decided to stay and give it a shot to the country and to the opportunities that this country offering at that time. And I making Peru an interesting career. I got a bachelor degrees in social communication, in the art, communication art. That's what we call in our countries, a science of communication, actually. And then I got the opportunity to make a couple of master's degrees in one in, I can't recall, so in management and social management. And the second one, it was a communication on corporations, something like that. I cannot recall by heart exactly. And when I moved to the United States, I just decided, okay, this is going to be my home for a while. And I decided just to, pursue a different or adding another professional skill. And I just decided to move for or select or choose the social service field to have the opportunity to work with them, with the communities in general. And I got the social worker license 5 years ago. And currently I'm working for an agency called Cape Cod Children's Place in two different roles. I am the Safe Child Communities Collaboration Coordinator, working for the Safe Child Communities Initiative. And the second one is the ParentChild Plus program, Cape Cod site coordinator, providing service, providing early education opportunities for families, for actually toddlers, kids under 3 years old. And yes, that's what I can share with you at this point, Natalia.
Yes, that's great. So that's a very interesting transition from a
Yes.
communication specialist to social worker. So I'll bet you might be using a lot of the communication skills that
Yes.
you have learned in Peru on your
Definitely.
new
Yes.
social work career.
And actually, when I decide what path I should follow, initially I was just considering the communication itself, like journalism here, and I took some courses at college. But as many of us, when I moved to America, I was actually an adult, and learning English was very difficult, for an adult. When you're in your 30s or 30, it's difficult. So, and because of the language barriers, the language, lack of fluency, I just decided probably to move to other field. But the social communication just gave me, honestly, the great foundation to do, I can say, it's such a great strength, for my current role in the community. Yes.
Yes, and I remember I met Marley in one of my jobs.
Yes.
So before the pandemic, I used to work for Independence House as a trilingual counselor, and that's where I met Marley because she was also a counselor there
Yes.
for a period of time.
Yes, Natalia was there, welcoming with this group of, trilingual staff, with that beautiful smile and the friendship and make me feel like comfortable, when I
Yes.
started. Thanks for that, Natalia. Never say that, but You and Katia and Tamane make me feel like, oh my gosh, this is such a good place to
So this
stay.
is interesting because I used to work for Independence House,
Uh-huh.
and now I have my own business and I have my podcast. I'm
Yeah.
on a communication skill now,
Yes.
and you did the opposite from
Yes.
communication.
Yes.
You're now social work and do the
Yes.
social working.
Yes.
So,
But I'm happy. I can feel like at least be doing it, being in that field, social service. It's not only working with people, like providing a one-on-one support is much more than that. Is understanding their needs, their context, understanding what the expectations for the future is. I think it's just a more bigger. It's a more bigger, approach when we are involved in any area in the social field. I'm really happy, like also work in a social worker, and also when you're a social worker, I don't know, it happens to me, it's very hard to be on the spotlight because we are, we prefer to work on the front desk, on the first line with clients or with, people that are in need. But yes, because of my role in the Safe Child communities, I have to be in the spotlight and speaking and, being in front of events. I'm trying to do my best, but it's still like a little bit challenging.
no, but you do a great work.
Thank you.
And so, as you mentioned, today you work for Cape Cod Children's Place. And tell us about the mission division of Cape Cod Children's Place.
Well, Cape Cod Children's Place is a wonderful, I can say one of the largest agencies on Cape Cod that provide different service. But the main goal is being recognized as the largest social service organization. And we certainly are we have three different approach. The first one is providing the one-on-one concrete support and service to any family in need of the community, because we understand that if the family is in the capacity to receive support, if the family is has enough contact or knows where to call when they are in need of any kind of of a situation that is affecting their well-being, they can call us and they know that we are going to be there just on the other side of the phone and make sure they will receive what they need. So and besides that, ensuring the delivery of a social support. Anyway, we also provide different parenting educations group because the idea is if the family is also receiving, concrete support, how about the possibility to increase their parenting skills? Because one of our main goals is helping the community to understand the importance of the child abuse, and the only way to educate the community is increasing the parenting skills. When the parent receive opportunities to interact much better with their kids, like doing activities at home and or spending quality time with their kids, the possibilities for that child abuse happen at home, it's reduced by that interaction. The skills that are improved.
Yeah, that is very interesting. And Cape Cod Children's Place works more towards the prevention, educating parents, giving them the right skills to raise their children.
Exactly. And by the way, the Safe Child communities. This is since this is my one. I can say my one of my main roles. The Safe Child communities is an initiative running currently by Cape Cod Children's Place, granted by the Children's Trust, to exactly seeking the accomplishment of that goal, Natalia. Prevention of the child abuse in any possible ways. And Children's Trust is working with Cape Cod Children's Place to run this Safe Child Communities initiative. I can say from 2020, in our network of community partners and community members, and awareness has been increased tremendously. I can say we have more than 60 or 70 organizations that are part of our Safe Child communities, and we are also so happy having you, Natalia, as one of our active partners there. And yes, that's the goal. Put the prevention, as one of the main topics on the community awareness so we can prevent the child abuse, not only educating parents, also providing, support to the families in making sure that they have all the possibilities, all the possible support that they need in place to make the well-being into the families, and ensuring the child safety.
Yeah, that's great. And it's very interesting because when we used to work for Independence House, you were the counselor
Right.
for kids and the youth, right? You
Yes.
were there to help them
Yes.
counseling after
Yes.
the abuse has
Yes. To the abuse
happened.
happens.
And now you transition to an agency that does prevention work,
That's a prevention
so
work.
that to prevent the abuse. How do you feel about that transition?
It's a very deep question, Natalia. And honestly, it might involve, including, I can say, personal feelings, because as someone that has been involved in this, child abuse subject, not only working, for Independence House, I worked previously for another agency that is no longer exists in the community, Cape Cod Child Development. I was social worker there for I can say 5 years before going to Independence House. And I can see it's a very sensitive topic. And from my personal perspective is I would love to do, I don't know, more that is in my capacity to promote in the community understanding how important this topic is, how important it is for parents receive the opportunity to being educated in how to talk to the kids to prevent the child abuse. Because when that situation happened, I can tell you the impact of the on this tremendous situation on the child life is sometimes irreversible. The impact on a human being that's being abused, especially a child, it's something that's even though there are a lot of surveys or counseling or support in place, cannot sometimes make the real change. That's why working on the prevention is the only way to ensure that the possibilities to reduce the child abuse happened, and especially the sexual, but all these different approaches are just not okay. Of course, we said the physical, the emotional, but the sexual abuse is on the top, and the parent education is a crucial piece. I do recall working in Independence House for a while. I never will forget this experience. That I received one client, one parent, one case that I knew in the past that the parents worked on me in my previous agency. The kids were under my care for 3 years, and when they came to this agency, and the parents were, with broken hearts because that horrible experience happened to the child, and just I hold these parents will, hug each other, and the parents, make me feel like understanding how hard it for these parents is. If for me it was tremendous, sad seeing this poor family, this poor kid affected by this horrible, experience. I can even imagine the parents feeling that there is not hope to make sure that the future of the child will be, restored. And that's the moment that I do say I did understand how important is, how crucial it is just to ensure prevention is just the key. Educating parents, receiving the opportunity, being open, letting our minds to, said, okay, this is only probably 10 minutes that these people will talk to me about how can I talk to my child, how can set up a great communication, the real communication with my child, and making sure, he's enough confident, she's enough confidence, to say no or speak up when it's the time to protect themselves.
And that's very important. And it's very interesting your experiences on your previous work, how has given you so much in that information experience to do the work that you're doing right now, because you have a full understanding of a traumatic child. And
Yes.
now the all the consequences that can cause in their own life and in their family life, and now doing the work of prevention, knowing
Yes.
that the work that you're doing now can
Yes.
prevent more trauma to happen to families.
Yes. And I can tell Natalia, this is a subject that involves everyone in the community. Many, I mean, I'm trying to be putting my shoes on my foot, and I'm fitting the other people's shoes. Some people might say, okay, but I'm having a good communication with my child. This is something that is not going to happen in my home, because we have a great, communication, and I'm making sure that my child, knows exactly what to do. However, these kids will growing. They will be part of this community. They will get engaged with these other people that are traumatized, affected. They can start relationships, become partners, a spouse, and if we are not trying to help, some people, that the other families, the other ones that are affected, and somehow will be impacted because we are part of the same community.
Yes, the community is small.
Exactly, the community is small. Everybody is integrated, so in different ways, and that's our main concern, extending this conversation, this parent education opportunities to everyone, including much more the Spanish and Portuguese, the minority communities, because there is a huge lack of information and education in that
Yes.
field.
You have mentioned some of the programs that Cape Cod Children's Place offers. Can you be more specific with the services? And you just mentioned that it is also offered the parenting classes in Portuguese and Spanish. Can you be more specific of each services and programs that are
Yes.
offered? Where are they offered? How can our listeners
Yes.
have access to these
Yes.
programs and sign up?
Yes. Programs and service. Starting with service. We are in the capacity to provide the most possible service. If we are not in the capacity to provide, this other service that we would love to, we can help the people to get immediately the contact with the ones they can provide the service. We're in the capacity to provide concrete service, emergency service as the easiest one. People can call us anytime and say, I'm struggling with some food, or I would love to speak with somebody, just to speak because I'm having, some emotional meltdown, or something is happening in my family. There is always will be there on the phone to listen, and respond to your need. But again, when we talk about concrete service, we're in the capacity to provide emergency system, food delivery, gift cards to get some, of course, products from a Stop and Shop. We also are in the capacity to make referrals to get some clothes for kids, emergency car assistance for gas as well. What else we are in the capacity to do? Seasonal. We have different services. For example, this is time of the year we are in the capacity to support, with some Thanksgiving and Christmas, support with families. And again, we have this very strong network with our, several partners in the community, and people are in need to, for example, okay, I just having some personal problem with my spouse or my partner, and I need to speak with somebody who can give me some guidance. We are in the capacity to, explain where they need to call, and we have the possibility to make the call. If language is a barrier, we can just call immediately to Independence House, or we can just examples, and say, hey, there is a parent in need of this. Or if people is struggling financially, there are times during the year that we're in the capacity to provide also, some financial support when we have the chance. When not, we can make also, everything easy for families. We can just call or support making the call to Needy Fund or any other places, where people can just, get the support that they need at that time. And this is in terms of service. In terms of the programming, quarterly, our agency provide different parent education opportunities, parenting or playing workshops or groups. And every quarter, we are releasing on our social media, in our website, in our social media, Facebook and Instagram, our calendar of activities that we are offering quarterly. And every activity is for free. It's kind of flexible. And there are 2 or 3 activities that are, I can say, trying to promote the well-being into the home, raising healthy families, positive discipline, the one that I'm running in Spanish and also in Portuguese. It's another opportunity as well. So, and when you mentioned it, if what else we could do for the minority communities for Spanish and Portuguese, this is the truth. We have the capacity to provide more opportunities for our these communities. The only fact is when we are trying to, provide this group outreach of participants, it's a little bit tricky. It's a little bit difficult. And just to give an example, we recently offered two parent positive disciplines group, one in Spanish and one in Portuguese. The only opportunity to receive this training once a year because it's difficult. This opportunity is needs to be covered in 5 sections. 5 sessions. I'm sorry, 5 sessions or 5 or 6 sessions because it's different topics that we need to explain and learning, and we cannot make this in 2 sessions. Now we try to set up the best time, 6 p.m. once a week for only 5 weeks. And the Spanish community responds really well. However, the Portuguese one, we have to cancel the group, the Brazilian. We have to cancel the group, even though we try to make a great, outreach on social media. And it's sad when we are kind of, have the energy, said, okay, let's going to make this because we know how important it is for the community.
So that's a very interesting topic. I just want to make a small comment.
Yes, please.
On your concern and your challenge. I have the same challenge with the Brazilian community, specifically regarding education. Yeah. So, as you know, Marley, I have different hats that I play in the community, and one of them is I'm an entrepreneur, and I have my small business that is international business relations. And it's going to be 5 years in January 2025 that I opened my business and the Latino Business Network. Yes. And since 2019, I've been organizing along with many other nonprofit agencies here in the Cape that provide services for entrepreneurs, a business expo that are offered in many languages for small business owners. But for instance, a couple weeks ago, I had the Latino Business Network. 25 people signed up. And I ordered breakfast for 25 people. 6 people showed up.
Yeah. Yes.
6 people showed up. It was in a great restaurant, great food, great information. I had 4 different professionals that volunteered their time to sit there and do a discussion about how to build wealth one property at a time.
Yes.
And the other 20 people didn't even text me or email me to let me know why they could not make it.
Yes. I can, say something in defense of these communities because we are part of the community. It's a challenge. It's a challenging for the ones, like in this case, your initiatives, ours as our organizations, what is the thing that I observe, and I also as a part of the community, I can say it, once people probably might have the desire to make, take this, commitments. People might really want to take a parent education for, improve their parenting skills or anything. However, one thing might be, what is affecting how chaotic are our lives in this city. The second thing is probably the lack of understanding the importance to being, responsible, at least to make a call and say, I'm no longer interested, or I'm sorry, this is not the best way, or this is not working for me at this time. And this is part of probably our cultural, very, very inner cultural, I wouldn't say habits, but some practices. We Latinos, and please forgive me if I am just wrong, but I got the feeling that's part of who we are. We are such amazing, wonderful community, strong, but also we might deal sometimes with the fact that we are inconsistent.
Inconsistent.
Inconsistent. And when we make commitments, it's something that we learn when the ones that we move to America and learn, when we integrate to the community, we learn the importance in here. If we say I'm going to be there, we have to be there. If we are not going to be there, just make the call and say, I'm sorry, but I will not, because that's how the system, the new context works here. And when our communities start moving right here, what's the priority? Working, put the food on the table, and then going home. And then, what's the next thing? Oh, just getting the resting time, and getting ready for the next day, the next challenge on the next day, tomorrow. However, what is the moment that we should learn? I think we need to make the effort to reflect on this as individuals.
And it's something that that I try to emphasize as in my other role in the community as being an ESL teacher for the workforce.
Yes.
Through Cape Cod Community College is teaching the American culture.
Exactly.
Because first is I think
Great,
like an
Natalia.
American because
Good for you.
I respect my culture.
Yes.
And I am a proud Brazilian. I'm rooted Brazilian.
Right.
I was born Brazilian.
Yes.
And I was raised by two great Brazilian parents. But then my family moved here when I was a child.
Yes.
So I learned the American culture. I respect American culture. And I love the American culture as well.
Yes.
So I incorporate what I like about the American culture in my life.
Yes.
And I incorporate what I like of the Brazilian culture
Integrate
in my
both.
life.
Yes.
And I integrate both for survival.
Right.
And it's something that it's a great point that our culture is different. But we as immigrants, you from Peru, me from Brazil, we decided to live in Cape Cod.
Right.
And Cape Cod is USA territory.
Yes.
There's different
it's
rules.
a New England.
yes, New England. So it is new rules.
Right.
There is a new culture, and I think it's very important for us immigrants to think about that we need to learn people's culture so we can respect them. And of course we need to earn our respect.
Of course.
So if here in America business is showing to places on time, if you signed up to go to a free course, if you signed up to do a free program, if you signed up to go to a free event, you go on time.
Right. Yeah.
And if you cannot go, email the person. Say, look, I cannot go. Something came up. I cannot go. Because if you don't call to cancel, they're counting on you there. And if food are offered, food will be ordered for you.
It's probably the easiest way to show some appreciation for that other person, organization that's trying to to make their best efforts, put their best efforts on place to offer something for you. Exactly. Main work, you say it, is the best way to show respect. Even though you cannot make it, is fine, but at least making a call in response, say, I will not be able.
A text message, email.
Simple like that. And again, as you say, Natalia, I totally, support your reflection. Is learning cultural. It's important. We are moving to America for different reasons. Doesn't matter what reason brought us here. We are here already. But we need to learn how to integrate in the culture. Bringing the best from our cultures, bringing our, wonderful, backgrounds culturally. However, this is the cultural, so we're going to be part. We need to learn. If we are parents, we need to learn much more, because our kids, they will be, they already, since they're moving over here, very kids, they're very little, they are more Americans than us. So
they're Americanized.
Of course. And yes, very, very interesting reflection in Natalia.
Yes. I mean, this is my opinion,
No,
my
absolutely.
reflection from my own life, and also observing others, and I think it's valid.
And when I mentioned in this case, for example, positive discipline, it's all these videos and explanations or extra information that we share with our community was, please take this opportunity because it's only once a year. what's happened when people don't take this opportunity. We receive calls during the year anytime from moms that are struggling with, children's behaviors, or when DCF is involved, or when, schools are pressuring the parents, you need to fix your child behavior. We're a school. You are the parent. You have to fix it. They call us desperate for support. And these 10 minutes of approach that we can display with parents is not enough to change the child behavior. So that's why we say come once a year. This training is available once a year in English and Spanish and Portuguese. So and we have to cancel the Portuguese group, unfortunately. We have 2 participants and we have to say, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Look at that. Look, it's amazing. You have all these programs in English, and the American community attends, or the English speaking community attends throughout the year. Then you hire people that speaks Portuguese and Spanish to do programming in their own language.
Yes.
That takes so much time and money to create these things in their own language. You probably had to hire translators to translate the whole program. Hire facilitators. So there was money involved. And here, I think here in Cape Cod, we probably have thousands and thousands of Brazilian people.
Yes.
And then 2 mothers signs up for 6-week program.
Actually, it was 5 weeks. We reduced, including the sessions, just to facilitate the people, participation. I can say thumbs up for the Spanish community that were calling and responding. I don't know. I'm really grateful because probably they saw all these announcements on, social media often. We tried the same with the Portuguese. However, honestly, I was talking with my team. So please call the public schools, speak with the social workers there, spread out with. But it's still. So
next year, if you don't sign up and show up, it's gonna be canceled. What a great opportunity!
It was canceled already.
It was canceled for good.
Yes, unfortunately, we were supposed to start October the 30th, and we have to cancel and spoke with these 2
Is it an opportunity for next year or no?
It's all about planning. Planning, because I can say this is one of the largest parent education opportunities, 5 or 6 sessions always. In the past, for the Portuguese, we used to run that group in November, October, but last year, for some reason, we have a great group of Portuguese moms. Last year, 2023, the fall of 2023. However, for this year, we decided to run this group at this time, like again, fall 2024. And unfortunately, we didn't have, enough their response from the community.
Oh, I'm sorry for that. I hope people will come around.
Yes.
Now that they're learning more about all of you do here.
Can I say something about very quickly about, just to close in this? This is a call for the community. I personally take, this because I'm part of the community as well. I can probably, as I understanding, or try to find out reasons. I can say that probably people thinking, and it's okay thinking on that way, that myself as an individual, if I have the possibility to work and make some money to put food on my table, give my child, enough clothing, or the basic needs, it's supposed to be all set. But it's not just like that. If we didn't have the opportunity in our lives, to go to college or get a career, or any other higher education to give me a bigger perspective of what life is. How will I just project this desire or this great perspective of my child if I don't get in some education for myself? So it's important, to embrace other possibilities, making a little time. And not only Cape Cod Children's Place, many other agencies, Independence House, many churches offering many technicals, careers and opportunities or programs, and they don't have enough response. English including.
Yes, because what I have found, another perspective about our community, especially the Brazilian community, I have more response towards the Hispanic community and the American community. They're more responsive to me and more respectful of my time.
Yes.
What I have noticed in the Brazilian community, there is some professionals that are very respectful and Americanized. There's some Brazilians, people in our community that are professional and they're Americanized. They respect your time. They're promptly there. But the newcomers, I would say the newcomers, the new generation of Brazilian immigrants that has come to Cape Cod the last like 5 years or less, they come to a culture that they're on a survival mode.
Yes.
I feel like they're always on survival mode.
Yes.
To especially the last 5 years, everything is so expensive. So they run on survival mode. I need to work. I need to pay bills. I need to survive.
Yes.
And unfortunately, even though Brazil is a big country, the priority is
Surviving mode.
is surviving. Surviving. And here in America, the way it is structured, we have more opportunities for education. We have more opportunities, and a lot of nonprofit agencies helping the community to lift up the community, to educate the community. There's a lot of more opportunity.
Yes.
I've been here for 25 years. I'm not sure how the system is there, but the little I know is that the system doesn't work in people's favor like here. So they are just not used to with the help.
Exactly.
It's just not in their radar. So in my opinion, that a person without knowledge has no opportunities.
Yes.
But then when we the agencies are able to bring that knowledge to the people, it will open up a door of opportunities in their life. But how to approach them, I think it's just one step at a time.
Yes.
And this is one of my visions and my mission for this podcast.
Yes.
That's why I bring people like you, because you're a community leader, you're a go-getter, and entrepreneurs to this podcast, so our listeners can learn from the services that you provide. Right? So we can open that door of opportunity for them.
Yes.
Because change is necessary.
Yes.
To engage in this community. Because this is my opinion, if you decide to immigrate here and you keep living the same way that you used to live back on your country, nothing's going to change in your life.
Exactly.
Nothing's going to change. You just change an address.
Just perhaps you will be able just to, afford food and the basic things for your kids. But did you get the opportunity to grow a little bit? You as a person, what else? I mean, all this effort to move to this country makes sense finally. Just to get some, basic things. So you got, your table you can provide for your family. But is that all that we are kind of seeking when we're decide to move to a new country? Yes, very deeply thought, Natalia.
Yeah, I think our conversation went sideways, but I think it was a great conversation.
Yes, absolutely.
Marley.
And I think we understand, what's happening. But the most important thing, and I'm sure you will just agree with me, we are not going to give up on this, on this.
Oh, no, I don't give up.
Exactly. We know that.
Plant the seed.
Exactly. We know that if we at least, for example, for this training, Portuguese group was canceled because of the lack of participants. However, the Spanish one are receiving. We have 12 parents that are currently receiving and going today, session 3. So we know that at least 12 parents will learn much more about how, improve their parenting skills, learning about the impact of, electronics on the kid's brain. We'll learn about including child prevention. We'll give this training as a plus at the end. So yes, I mean, we are not give up on our community for sure. We are not, never.
Bringing them in a little bit at a time, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So I want you to talk to us about this wonderful project that you are leading, which is you mentioned about the
Safe child communities.
safe child community. I would like you to talk about one of the projects from the safe child community that will impact, will improve. I won't say impact. Will improve our lives as immigrants here on
As
the
an
Cape,
immigrants here on the
which
Cape.
is removing language barriers across Cape Cod communities. Can you tell us about this project and how it all came about, the findings, and the
Yes.
next step?
Yes, as you mentioned it, Safe Child Communities. We are in the community as an initiative from 2020, and one of our three main goals is the first of all, of course, is just work on the prevention piece of the child abuse, and the second one, it was something that we as a network decide to work together. Last year in 2023 October, we met with these large numbers of community service providers, 36 or 38, I cannot recall by heart. And we discussed together, okay, we are such a great and a strong network right now. We need to think what social issue we can just work together to eliminate that barrier and make sure that our programs are more visible for this for these communities. What kind of project, what kind of topic we need to work, and we make we're offering three proposal of possible topics to work with, and the most of the partners consider that the minors communities lack the access of several services provided by these community service providers because of the language barriers. So we select that topic based on this, on the most participants' decisions, and we're starting first of all creating a task force, I'm sorry. And Natalia is a very active member of that. Thank you, Natalia, for all the work that you have done with us.
You're welcome.
And what we did in the very beginning, okay, set up this task force. We call this, backbone team task force. And then we said, okay, let's want to set up initial tentative objectives. One of them, as you mentioned, is try to enhance the delivery of service, the community service systems approaches, and make sure that these immigrants or people that lack English skills, language, can access besides against the limitation of the language barriers to this community service. And the second one is make visible our roles of community service providers, our brands, and make sure that these communities are aware that we're offering this wonderful opportunity. Like, for example, you say, Natalia, you are an entrepreneur that running different programs. Why these programs are not extremely very visible in the community for everybody, not only for the Brazilian ones, the Spanish and other people. So the same thing. Every single organization in the community has a large range of service programming activities to do, and it's always limited to the people that might understand or can go in cold and receive service in English. So a very few of our community partners are in the capacity to provide translators or interpreters at the time that people are going or making a call to, seeking some service. So that was just, I can say, one of two initial or tentative goals. And we said, okay, this 2024, let's start working with this. So we said, okay, first of all, before to move forward with, the next step, which is work on the strategic plan, we said, okay, we need to work on we need to collect data. We need to hear from what everybody think about this specific topic, and we released some surveys across community service providers first. We did this in December, and then we released some surveys across librarians. We have some conversations with public school system, and thanks to the great collaboration with the Tufts University team and the tier team from the Tufts University contacted me in January this year and offered me the opportunity to work with them as well, as a consultant for one project. one project that impact the communities in needs on Cape Cod. And when I said, okay, you're offering me that job, great. But I am working right now on one specific social issue project that is trying to remove language barriers in my community. And I said, if you guys can consider my project as the goals or that project that top want to support, they say yes. We can consider
That's
that goal. And
great.
that was just great for me because oh my gosh, you gotta
That's
work
awesome.
with you want me work with you guys, please. Just how about, and they say yes, okay, Marley. So and in coordination with TAF, we ran from focus group across the Cape Cod focus group where we have the opportunity to speak with the people from the community, Brazilians and Spanish, and that's a very interesting point of view. In that recently I heard that why only these two languages. So the explanation is because to run one focus group based on the top universities model with all these standards they are running, they need to be provided with facilitators that speak that language or any other languages.
So not an interpreter has
Not
to
an
speak
interpreter, need to be the facilitators in place who interact in their own language, and including the translation and review need to be on these languages as well. Unfortunately, here on the Cape, we didn't have the capacity to contact with people that speak Haitian or Creole. Haitian Creole to run this focus group. If we will have the opportunity, we'll say, yes, we got somebody.
Maybe in the future we will be able
Who
to
knows?
connect with Haitian Creole,
Yes.
French, and
yes.
other languages because the community is growing.
Yes. And there are people. The problem is how you
find
find them. They are wonderful people because as part of this project later, I make a lot of interviews with many congregations, and these wonderful folks from this, the Nazareth, this kind of congregation, Nazareth, in Dennis, I cannot recall by heart. I apologize if I cannot recall by heart the name of this congregation. It's a congregation with wonderful Haitians, Creole folks. We make a lot of connections there, but after the focus group will run only in Spanish and Portuguese. So this four focus group responds to that need to hear from the community, from individuals, from these two large populations on the Cape, their needs, their concerns, their histories, their sharing in general of how bad how they struggle during the transition, during the settlement time, due to the language barriers. And then the next phase was interview congregations, as I mentioned. I got the opportunity, and thanks to Natalia, to complete a large group of interviews with different congregations from different denominations on the Cape, and hear their perspective, what they think, probably the first resource that people are going and seek help when they are in need of something. So we met with Spanish, with Catholics, a service of St. Francis Xavier. We met with our folks from Cristiano Adoradores de Cristiano in Yarmouth Cristiano Adoradores, the Cape Cod Bible of Harwich, two different congregations from also Orleans. I cannot recall by heart of them. These wonderful congregations, the Nazarene Church of Dennis, etc., etc. I can say it. And yes, and what's the perspective from these first, organizations regarding people needs, what they are seeking, what they are sharing, what their concerns are. And very interesting one Brazilian church shared with me, yes, it's important you guys are trying to set up, improve the systems for people access, to the communities, service, primarily essential service. That's perfect. But it's important, you guys, ladies, also create awareness that people need to understand that learning English is also important. Are you guys expecting that people will just be all the time just there to counting on the need of translators, interpreters as for the rest of their life? Initially should be correct. It's understandable in the very beginning, all the systems supporting in place, but then they need to integrate the culture. They need to understand the importance of learning English because the kids are going to school. Their kids are attending school. They are learning English no matter what. If you are not learning that language, eventually you will lose the communication with your child because the child refuses to speak home language because they feel like more comfortable speaking English right now, and you are seeing this barrier into your home right now. Not only for your kids, it's just for yourself.
In the
Learning
community.
in the community to be
Because
more
you're
flexible.
limiting
Exactly.
yourself just to have friends that speak your first language.
Yes.
And the community is so big. And then if
Yes.
you have a fluency in English,
Yes.
you can communicate with everyone.
Yes.
And like
And it's
as a
interesting.
businesswoman, English is
Yes.
the language of the business world. Everyone around
Right.
the planet Earth
Yes.
speaks English when they do business.
Yes, absolutely. And it's very interesting, all the responses that we got from these different approaches. For example, from focus group, we hear people say, we don't see many opportunities to learn English or are very expensive or the schedule doesn't match with my capacity. However, churches say, we are offering English opportunities for free. You don't need to pay. Just make the call, and we're going to be planning, when we're going to set up, the best time. Other churches or communities say, oh, we would love to. But, I mean, if we know that there are people that are interested, we can just coordinate, facilitate this. Our church has enough capacity to set up a
That's
program of this.
wonderful.
Yes, that's wonderful.
That's wonderful.
It's
See, you asked for challenges, you got the challenge, and people are responding how to solve those challenges.
Exactly.
That's wonderful.
And recently, Natalia, again, thanks to you and all this great team of task force, and members, Family Research Center, the Council of Churches, Children's Cope, Mass Hired, Healthy Families, Cape Cod Children's Place, SILA, Cape International Language Academy, all these, you professionals, part of this and representative of these networks, we run together the presentation finally of these findings on October the 23rd. You were there, and it was a great opportunity, to welcome all these large attendance numbers. We got like at least 70 people coming from different organizations, public school systems, or simple people from the community who want to hear. Tell us about that. We want to hear what's the findings, what's the response of all these, approaches you guys put in place the whole year.
And that was wonderful. I loved it. And I even brought a few students with me
Yes.
from my ESL class.
It was
And they
amazing.
were just amazed. Like, oh, I wanted to participate more in that. How can I help?
That's awesome.
I said, well, let's begin learning English.
Yes, of course.
So then
yes.
you can help out more. So this was a wonderful conversation, Marley.
Yes.
And thank you so much to be part of the
Yeah.
podcast today. Before
Thank
you
you.
leave, can you tell our listeners an inspiration message? Like, what message would you like to tell our listeners today?
Well, I mean, if our listeners are here in America, dear people from Cape Cod, I can say that we are first of all, very pleased to work for the community. We are here to support and give whatever is our capacity, to give it to you and your family. I can say, please do not, even though there are hard times in our lives, when we are trying to navigating our, days in this wonderful place, but still challenging place like Cape Cod, still, don't lose the hope. We are here with all of us might have these days, we recently have 2 days, an election, important election in our country. There are people that are sad, people that can be happy because of the results, but still we can do our best, to build our lives in this country, bring in the best. And if there is something that we need to know, do not hesitate. Come and ask not only any of us, Natalia or myself. There are a lot of folks in the community that are so eager to work with you or supporting you in a very kind way, in a very private, preserving confidentiality. And yes, we are part of the community, just in the same way that you are.
Thank you so much, Marley, to be here with us. I just have a few announcements. So the Latino Business Network is it's been meeting every month, so you're
Oh,
invited, Marley, to come to the
thank you
next
so
one.
much.
I will be
Which day is that?
announcing, yeah, I will be announcing soon
Okay.
the date and time for December and January.
I love
I am
that.
just closing the speakers and the space, so I'll be announcing soon. So hopefully, in the Latino Business Network, it is accessible for you in English, Portuguese, and Spanish. And I'm always bringing a new topic each month so entrepreneurs can learn
Yes.
to do business here in America. And the
And
group
guys, this
is
is a great
very
opportunity.
diverse. It comes
It's very
Americans,
opportunity to be part of
Hispanics,
this.
Brazilian, so we can learn from each other.
Of course.
And there's no language barrier because I'm trilingual.
Yes.
So our priority is to do the Latino Business Network in English because that's the business language here in the United States. But if there are Latinos, Brazilians, Hispanics that are in a room and they're not fluent in English, I am there to interpret
facilitate
everything,
interpreter,
facilitate. So just come, enjoy. That's a great opportunity.
Yes.
And
Yes,
the-
that's called for the community. These opportunities are just so limited. Do not miss a chance. Just, it's probably 1 hour, half an hour.
it is a 2-hour
It's
program.
just 2 hour program, but still, it's
so
just
it's
wow.
time for networking.
I personally will take
Eat
it.
great
Yeah.
food. Eat great Latino
Plus,
food.
yes, Latino food. Yum.
And also learn about entrepreneurship in America. And so thank you so much.
Thank you,
Marley.
Natalia.
And continue to follow us here. Follow, subscribe our channel here in our YouTube. Bate Papo Sobre Negócios.
Give a like. Give a like. Pong un check. Me gusta.
Yes. Bate Papo Sobre Negócios, the business talk show, is here to interview community leaders like Marley and also entrepreneurs like you.
And if you live in Brazil, it's a great opportunity to learn how things are just,
Here in
if
United
you're planning to
States.
move or traveling, learning something about, great approach from Natalia will give you a big picture of, how things can
Yes.
get better in the United States.
And this show, we do interviews in English, Spanish, and Portuguese because those are the only 3 languages I speak. So those are the ones that I offer here. And thank you so much. Have a great day, a wonderful and blessed week.
Thank you, Natalia. Thank you, everybody.